Welcome to Your Healthy Kitchen from YRMC.
Welcome to YRMC's Your Healthy Kitchen. I'm your host, Rita Carey Rubin. Today we are at Molly Beverly's home in Chino Valley, where we're going to take a tour of her gardens and learn how she stores and cooks all of the beautiful produce that she grows. Molly is a chef, a teacher, a food activist, and a friend who I met many years ago when I joined the American Culinary Federation. And since then, I've learned from Molly in the classroom and the kitchen, and I am thrilled to have her on the show today. So welcome, Molly. I know we have a lot to talk about, but let's start with a tour of your beautiful gardens.
Hey Rita, welcome to the garden. We really outdid ourselves this year. When we saw that pandemic coming, I thought we really need to plant a big garden. And our gardens are gardens that you can feed yourself off of. That's why you'll see so many beans here, all these beans. And you'll see so much corn, things that we can store. And we'll go in the house and I'll show you how I store them. But we're going to start right here with this Indian woman bean that a friend brought me the seeds. It's interesting. Gardens are all different. This end of the beans is dry. They're almost ready to pick. That end of the beans is still green and still flowering. It's like a little special package. They're kind of like pinto beans, but not exactly. Beans come in different colors and different sizes and different shapes, and they all have different flavors and different consistencies too. So you can use them in your cooking in different ways. So now I'm going to move over here to show you the okra. Okay, here we have the okra. Okra is an African plant. So is the sweet potatoes, which I have over here. And I like red okra. It's beautiful, it's long, it's thin. I don't grow a ton of it because it just goes into my freezer and it isn't like a staple crop that I would dry. I wanted to say here that this is not your little urban backyard garden. I don't want you folks to get intimidated by this. We started a little urban backyard garden when we were in college. And now, many, many years later, we have expanded to this. But even one tomato plant, no, don't plant one tomato plant. Plant 3 or 4 tomato plants because 1 or 2 of them are going to die. There's always failures in the garden, and I just want to encourage you to get started. See these sweet potatoes here? There's a full row of sweet potatoes because those will store all winter. I started those from a sweet potato I got at the store. I stuck it in the dirt halfway, and when those little sprouts started coming off, I just put them in little pots. They made roots, and there is that row of sweet potatoes. Here I am in the Navajo melon patch. This is a very vigorous melon, and it is so very beautiful. It's just a joy to come out here every morning and look at the leaves and the tendrils. This is a plant that is recognized on the Slow Food Arc of Taste. It's a heritage plant. Maybe you've never heard of Slow Food, but it's an organization I am really deeply involved in. And one of the many things they do is they recognize heritage plants that are at risk of being lost. This came from the Navajo Nation. So this melon, it's very vigorous, it's very happy here, but it has big seeds. It has a thick rind, and I have grown this for several years. I saved the seeds, and it has a thick rind. It comes off at the end of the season, and I can stick it away in my pantry and eat it for Christmas. So let's see if there's one coming along in here. Where is that? Oh, right there. It's going to get a lot bigger. It has a couple months to go, and then I will be able to store it and put it in my pantry. We have a great patch of basil this year, which I've been making into pesto, And I also freeze the leaves. It's so aromatic. This is crazy, you only need one plant. But the really important thing about basil is to prune it really low. This will go great in the minestrone soup. This side is all tomatoes, but they're all green right now. So when I dry these, I can these, I make tomato sauce. They're kind of scaring me. I think they're all going to come at once. Right here and on out this way are the peppers. And I see one right there. Wow. That's a California bell. I've been roasting these and freezing them. Those are the butternut squash out there. There's a full row. This is one of our staples. We love butternut squash. There are lots of different kinds of butternut squash, but this is a wonderful non-hybrid squash that you can keep in your kitchen. They call these winter squash. That's because they keep all winter, and they just get sweeter as they sit. Up there, that is a wall of corn that we brought back from Peru. It's a morada, which means dark corn, like the Moors, and it makes everything kind of black. I put it in my bread and I get a really dark hue to the bread. Look at the sunflower up there. It's loaded with bumblebees. I can't tell you what a joy it is to be in the garden. People go, it's so much work, but it's really so much joy. Okay, here we have like hot peppers. What do you do with the hot peppers? I roast them, I dry them, and I put them in salsas. Delicious. A little further down the row, what do we have? More peppers. Check out this pepper plant. Woo-wee! Those are hot. If I get too many, I give them to my neighbors. They love me. You can't give away too much. It's like putting money in the bank. It's better than money in the bank. Okay, this one looks pretty full. Let's see how it looks inside. Has a little worm damage. Oh, it's beautiful. This is sweetness variety. Look at that. It's a bicolor corn. This is the love of my garden this year. These are black-eyed peas. This is another African pea. I wish you could have seen them when I planted them, because this was my garlic row. It was empty. I planted it late in mid-July. And I just bought some black-eyed peas from the grocery store and just sprinkled them out here and covered them up with a little dirt. Really thick. They came up these little sprouts. You could do this in a little box in your apartment. They came up these wonderful little bean sprouts, and I just started pulling them out, rinsed them off, and went, wow, I've got bean sprouts. And then, of course, I planted this all at once. So if you do it at home, I recommend you do successive plantings. It's just been wonderful going along. I love how this bean puts its beans on top. It's resistant to all the bean diseases and the bean beetles. And they start putting out little tiny ones, like a little snap bean. There you go, little snap bean. Just eat it like that, cut it up, stir fry, put it in the soup. Then they start getting bigger, like this. Gonna pick some of these for that minestrone soup. These are good. And later, they will fill out even more, so you can see the seeds inside, and then you can shell them out. They're a little young for that now, but they'll just pop out. Ooh, there went one. They're a little too young for that. But you can just make what they call shell beans out of those. And then, of course, they also are dry. So these will dry. When they're all dry, I'll come along and we'll pick them all. We'll harvest them all and put them away and have them for dinner all winter. And the really neatest thing about black-eyed peas, they only take 1 hour to cook. Not like those other beans. So here we go. I'm picking some because Rita's going to make the minestrone. She needs to put some of these in the minestrone. And now we're going to go in the kitchen and I'm going to show you what I do with all this stuff to preserve it, because this is really designed to feed me in the winter. Here we are in my kitchen. I have all that stuff out in the garden and now I've got to put it away for winter. So I have a nice display here of some of the ways I preserve food. One thing I do is I have these big buckets in storage in my pantry. This one is full of wheat, which I actually buy. This one's full of black-eyed peas. When those black-eyed peas are ready, they're going to go into a bucket like that. I have 3 different kinds of corn growing. You saw the morada. There it is. It's so very dark. And this is a Oaxaca yellow corn and a Hopi blue corn. Right now I have these 3 kinds of corn planted. I don't plant them every year, but that's what I have. So I have my basic protein combination. I have grains and I have beans. The beans that I am growing this year are the yellow Indian woman, which you saw out there. I am growing pinto beans. We love pinto beans. We always grow a lot of them. And I am growing these bata beans, which are an Italian soup bean, great for minestrone. So I have all these dry goods. I also dry my own oregano, which has a lovely smell. Great Christmas gift. And then I do a little bit of canning, not a lot. I make applesauce, which is just grated apples ground up. I don't put any sugar in it, and then I bottle that. Very important, tomatoes. When I make this tomato sauce, the water, the liquid that comes out of the tomatoes, that gets bottled up like this. Bloody Mary mix. And then I also make some pickles. So here's some pickled okra in here. Whoa, that goes great with the Bloody Marys. So I also do some freezing. You saw the basil out there. Take those basil leaves, toss them in oil. Very important. If you don't do that, they're going to oxidize, turn black, taste bad. Pack them. And this is really easy to access. You can just cut it off. I also make big batches of pesto and freeze them in small containers, so they're really readily available. And the fresh things like corn, wonderful in the middle of the winter. That gets frozen and vac packed. Also, roasted peppers, sweet and hot. They're really delicious. So now we're going to go into the actual kitchen and unpack what's going into the minestrone soup. Okay, so when the refrigerator gets full and there's no place left to put anything else, it's time to make minestrone soup. Pack this up so that it is put away for the winter. I start my minestrone soup with garlic. I grow a lot of garlic and I have grown garlic for many years. This is an extra special big clove variety. It is so yummy. And onions. I saute these in some olive oil, get a good base, and then add a bunch of other vegetables. zucchini, okra, peppers, some of those black-eyed peas we picked out there, long peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, and carrots, sometimes some basil, some of that oregano. You know, it's a recipe that's set up so you can use whatever you have, and that takes on the character. But the main thing is to really saute things and put a nice brown caramelization on it for full flavor. So I want to thank you, Rita, for coming out, seeing my garden. It's been a joy to show it to you, and I hope you and everybody else starts making minestrone soup. You can find more of my kitchen antics on the Facebook page, Chef Molly's Cooking Class.
Thank you, Molly, for your gracious invitation to your gardens and your home. And I'm just inspired and thrilled to make some of that minestrone at home today. And remember, for all of you out there, you can view all of our videos and see our recipes, which are easy and delicious using local ingredients, at YRMC's Health Connect. And you can also follow me on Facebook at YRMC's Your Healthy Kitchen, where you'll see what I make at home, plus see links to some of my favorite food and gardening destinations on the web. So until next time, plant something, eat well and be well. We'll see you soon.